What's up, Internet? We are here with The Trials of Mana, a title that I think is kind of dumb. We're just gonna press start to get into this. And this is a game that was released in English about a month ago. If you wanted a physical copy like me, you got it like today. And as the box to the collection of Mana, which I think, like Trials of Mana, is a terrible name, states, this is the first time this game is available in English, and that is a blatant lie. This game is, or has been available in English for about 20 years now. I want to say this is like the first really big English translation project that has existed since emulation really became a thing, and that's because this is kind of a pretty big game for importers. In fact, I would consider it one of the big 5 import games for the Super Famicoms, the other being Terranigma, Bahamut Lagoon, Treasure of Rudra, and Live Alive. But this was one of my first import translations I ever played, so it's kind of an important game to me. And this is also why I kind of bought this collection, because it's the first time it's available commercially, you know, from the people who made it. It's a shame it took them about 30 years to get there, and they were like already 10 years late, but still, at least we got this. And next year apparently we're getting a remake of this, because I don't know why. That completely invalidates this game. But anyway, this is a game that as of a few months ago was only known as Secret of Mana 2, or if you're going to use the Japanese vernacular, Seiken Densetsu 3. This is, as the English translation kind of calls it, a sequel to The Secret of Mana, although it has basically no connection to it. And we're going to play at least a little bit of it, and at least get a feel for what this game is. Now, would I consider this game to be a better game than The Secret of Mana? Well, that's tough for me to say because, well, The Secret of Mana is such a important game to me. But I think this game does a lot of things better, and also some things significantly worse, but we'll get into this. So we'll start a new game, and these are our heroes. Now, this is one of the things I like significantly better than Secret of Mana. Instead of being stuck with 3 characters from the start, you have a selection of 6 heroes, of which you pick 3. And if your team and my team were exactly identical, by the end of the game, they'd still be probably pretty different, because every character here has a different class. And as you level up, you can actually select different classes, with each character having up to like 4 final forms that they could potentially have. Unfortunately, once you start picking a class, you're kind of married to it, so it kind of helps to do your research ahead of time, but still. Anyway, we got to pick our team, and that's something I find to be very, very stressful. Now, we're going to start with this guy, which is Duran. I consider him to be sort of like the protagonist of the story. Now, he's going to be our main character, our first character. And the first character is sort of the most important because while there are 6 playable characters in this game, there are only 3 story paths. The offensive mage has one set story, and Duran also share the same story. The cleric and I want to say the ninja share the same story, I believe, and then the Valkyrie and the werewolf share the same story, I think. So even though there is different heroes you can start with, you do end up with a lot of crossover, which is one of the things I don't like about it. Now we're gonna name our characters. That's my go-to hero name, so we're gonna go with Zeph. Now we gotta pick our next teammates. Now this is Kevin. He's a werewolf. He's sort of like the greatest melee attacker ever. And I don't actually use this guy all that much. And I think that's, you know, I think he's kind of easy. Like, everyone says he's kind of one of the best characters, so I'm going to probably skip out on him. Now you've got this guy, Hawk. He was sort of one of my main guys from the first time I played this game. And I don't necessarily like him. When I picked my team the first time I played, he sort of came across as, for lack of a better term, the weak link. He's sort of a supportive fighter, and I didn't care so much for that. Okay, next you have Angela. She's sort of the black mage of the team. Yeah, she's alright. She's just sort of alright. Like, all the other characters, they can learn offensive magic, but she's sort of the go-to for it. Next we have Carly. I think we're going to add her to her team. She's the designated white mage, or Charlotte. They retranslated some shit. I'm used to the fan translation. We're going to call her Sprite because she looks like Sprite, and I love Sprite. He was my favorite character in the first one. And the reason we're picking her is simply because last time my team, and in fact it was also my first team, it was Duran, Angela, and Hawk, and that was not a very good team because there was really no way to heal outside of just spamming items. And if I recall, items in this game are capped at like 4, so you're really, really limited to that. So you can play that team, sure, but it's not ideal. So we're gonna go with Sprite. And then our final character, I think, will be this character, which is, I've heard this, even in the translation, it was weird. It was like, some people translate it as Lise, some Lisa, some Reitz, I guess it's Rates. We're gonna call her Mia. She's a Valkyrie, and she is sort of like a more offensive Hawk, I think. But she synergizes pretty well with Carly, because Carly has the ability to basically drop all the enemy stats at once. And Mia here has the ability to like raise all your stats at once. So it's sort of great, considering I've got one super strong fighter, as well as 2 kind of magic support people who can also do a little bit of fighting if I need to, but we're gonna just sort of focus on this. And I've heard that Reitz has like one of the best classes in the game, so I'm pretty excited. I've never actually used her. Oh, do we have green text boxes? I don't remember green text boxes. Alright, so the thing you gotta understand is, like the original, even though it forces you to pick your team initially, you are still stuck as one character until the rest actually join your party, which I feel is kind of a little peculiar. And, well, now you get to see one of the things I really like about this compared to Secret of Mana. It looks a lot more bloody detailed. Oh, translations. I do like that. You're going down, thumbs down. Our boy has. Okay, now it kind of has a charge, sort of wait until you slash like Secret of Mana sort of had. Different characters have different like attack timings, so some can attack a little bit more. But as you can see, movement is not very fast, and this is as fast as movement will be in combat. This is one of the things I hate about this game, compared to, say, Secret of Mana, where you could run full tilt in combat, And if you could, just for a moment, imagine going back to, like, level 1 areas at, like, level 50 and just wanting to avoid enemies. Yeah, that ain't happening. You're moving at about... Honestly, I think this is faster than the original Super Nintendo moved you a little bit. But, you know, you're still moving a fraction of your actual movement speed until you kill everything. And once you kill everything, if I recall, there's, like, a sheathing your weapon animation you have to go through. So it really takes a while to actually go anywhere if you're revisiting older areas. Another thing I really don't like about combat in this game is that the moment you run into combat, every enemy aggroes to you. Which means you have to go through every enemy to start moving faster. And that's our special move right there, because we've got a little charge bar for it. If I recall, when you class change, you get better charges up there, so you can get better moves as you go. But we're the hero. We are the greatest of all gladiators. I'm vaguely reminded of the final chapter of Live Alive. Yeah, that's right, I'm strong. Because I'm the heavy hitter of this party. Now, this actually leads to kind of my biggest gripe with this game. Going back to when we selected our characters, I mentioned how despite there being 6 characters, there's only 3 stories. Well, in those 3 stories, each one has like a main villain, like the big bad that you're chasing. Well, I'm going to spoil a little bit of the story, and there's this huge sort of important moment in the plot where everyone's sort of racing for the big MacGuffin of the game, and, you know, even though they're not members of your party, every other character shows up to sort of give a brief moment of, hey, we're still in this world. And that's because their villains are still in the story as well. And that means they're chasing after the big important plot MacGuffin at the same point. And, well, you run into the other villains that aren't your major villain, and they give you like this whole spiel about how they're not really all that evil, and how your villain is really the evil guy. And they're just some schlub who was trying to do the right thing, but they kind of did it through a bad means. And the thing is, it's so disingenuous because you know every other villain would be in the exact same situation if you picked a different protagonist. And that's kind of why I don't like this game so much compared to Secret of Mana. Like, I mean, you can make fun of Secret of Mana for having, like, basically no story starting halfway through the game, but, you know, at least it had a decent villain. This game doesn't really have a villain. And that's kind of the problem. But I think there's a lot of good in this game, and it's definitely one worth checking out if you're into importing, or you've got a Switch, or I guess a PS4 starting next year, because they're remaking it. And that terrifies me because, of course, they remade Final Fantasy Adventure, and they actually remade that really good. They called it Sword of Mana, but then they remade it as Adventures of Mana, and it was abysmal. They remade Secret of Mana, and that is one of the worst games I had to play last year. Oh, I've got flashbacks to that, man. Not gonna lie, I 100%ed that game just so that I would never have any desire to ever go back and play it. So I'm not exactly thrilled about the concept of them remaking this game, but who knows. Something's going on, we gotta go investigate. Everyone's knocked out. Yeah, we were too. We weren't sleeping or anything. We were knocked out because we were overpowered. That's a save spot. There are gold statues that save and heal you as well. But you can move a little bit faster. You can actually run as opposed to walking, which is nice. Or as opposed to whatever shuffling around you do when you fight things. Well, we can't go that way. I guess we'll leave forever. I don't remember where I need to go. I remember I gotta go to the throne room, and then I get to confront the villain guy, and it's bad. That guy. That's the final villain of this game. For our character. But trust me, he's not really all that evil if you're any other character. No, really. And that's why the story of this game is kind of weak sauce. I will say, I don't really like how this collection handles this game necessarily. Like, it has it in this mode, and you won't be able to tell because I've actually zoomed the image. I'm not running away. thought you went inside. But you can zoom in on the footage in this game, but it will always be the same lengthwise, not widthwise, which means you can't stretch it to, like, what is it, 16 by 9, which I know that bothers a few people. I've gotten a few messages on my YouTube channel about how they don't like me blowing up the footage that I do, but, you know, I like having a video take up my entire screen. That's how I play games. So when I can't do that, or when this collection sort of half-asses it, it's kind of frustrating. Also, we lost to a wizard guy who's totally evil and is not at all some guy who's not a complete schlub like all the other villains. No, really, he's the true villain. But we're the only survivor, and we're totally shamed by this guy, so we're gonna go on a quest to go defeat him. Because honor and stuff. And in doing so, we're going to meet lots of friends, and only 2 of them are going to join our party. Actually, there's another reason why you want to select either Duran or Angela for your protagonist. That's because you get to fight a special bonus boss. But it's a really, really tough fight, from what I remember. Oh no, Wendy hates us. Now we can no longer have her weird square hamburgers. Or her knockoff, what is it, malts? But just look at this, man. This game looks awesome. I don't want to go home. I just really want to go home. Let's pet the dog. Petting the dog! I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Where am I supposed to go? Am I supposed to go in here? Unfortunately, this game has a couple of these moments where you just kind of have to talk to everyone. I don't think this is one of those. This is one of those, I've just not played this game in years, so I've kind of forgotten where I need to go from the start. I think this is who we had to talk to. I need to be more powerful. Get a class change. They definitely make it kind of gamey. Honestly, I kind of thought that was a translation thing, but apparently switching classes is really how we're getting stronger. Why not? Alright, I'm not sure if we can go home now, or if we just leave. Because I know we have to leave at some point, and then we don't ever go home again. Because that's our character's arc. Alright, now we gotta leave. Because very much like Secret of Mana, we choose to banish ourselves. But only from our house. We come back here later. Goodbye! I don't want your crappy square hamburgers, Wendy. Yes, now we get to inherit the old sword of our father, which actually is very similar to Secret of Mana, kind of. Spoilers. But our sword isn't the mana sword. The mana sword's a plot device in this game. Oh, I gotta go talk to the king again. Alright, fine, whatever. I just remember the next town has, from what I recall, kind of like a sort of clever puzzle. It feels like one of those things where you gotta talk to everyone. But it's not actually one of those things. I remember the first time I ran into it, I was really confused as to what I was supposed to do. It's like, oh, it's that. That's kind of clever. I wish I thought of that earlier. Alright, so we gotta go talk to the king, and then we get to leave forever. I need to change classes. Yay. Alright, off we go. Also, the soundtrack to this game is pretty good. They even have a nice remix of Angel's Fear, which was the Secret of Mana theme, which is kind of nice. So off we go. To go be a hero and shit. But yeah, this is just so pretty. The dog's still sleeping. Silly dog. But we need to go be heroes and stuff. I will say, I don't like how they made the bees in this game look. I like the bees in Secret of Mana way better. There's a lot of customization in this game, though. Like, every time you level, you can actually select a stat to boost. Unfortunately, there are problems with that I don't think were fixed in this particular iteration of the game. Such as luck stat being basically worthless, and I want to say there was one other stat that's basically without value at all. There's one other thing about leveling up that was a little peculiar, and that is, even though you can level up all your stats... Oh, we can't go that way yet. You can't level them up to a certain point. Like, once you level them up to X value, it just says, okay, you've leveled this stat up too much, level something up for a little while, and then maybe we'll let you get back to that stat. Which kind of sucks. It hampers how much you can really customize your character. But, yeah, I way prefer the bees from Secret of Mana. They look like actual bees, whereas these look like bobblehead bees with googly eyes. Alright, let's keep going. Because we have to go defeat the Red Wizard and stuff. I'm really hoping they don't butcher the remake to this, but I just don't see it happening. Seeing as, you know, Square has not had a good remake of anything since the Game Boy Advance, when they made the Final Fantasy games and Sword of Mana. Which is not on this collection, by the way, which I think is stupid. Like, this collection is just the original Game Boy Final Fantasy Adventure, not the superior remake that actually plays like the Super Nintendo games that we got on the GBA. It doesn't have anything after the GBA either, which I think is a missed opportunity. Legend of Mana was apparently pretty good. I've never played it. I played Dawn of Mana, and I found that one to be a little strange, but I would have cared for that being on this collection, but it's not. Alright, character building moment. That's a bridge, not the wizard guy. But I need class changes, which we can't actually get until we're level 18. And then 38, which is a little bit late in the game, considering that the final boss can be fought at like level 40. I don't know why they spaced them out so far. But now we're building up a prologue, even though we just lived it, because if we weren't clear on what our character motivation is, boy howdy, we are now. I still say Trials of Man is a dumb name. But at least it's now officially available in English. Well, that said, I have a Super Nintendo card of it in English too, so, you know. Officially might be kind of stretching the term a little bit. Man, this game is still pretty. It's by Square because NX was still their rivals at the time, and that forced them to actually make good games. As opposed to them being a giant conglomerate that just has to half-ass everything they do. Yeah, so this town is currently kind of trapped because werewolves take over. Now, I remember this being kind of like a puzzle, sort of. Like, the first time I thought, you know, okay, what I have to do is talk to everyone, then I'll figure out how to leave. There's actually a very simple way to leave. But there is, I want to check and see if I can. I don't think I can. Let's check the equipment just to see if there's anything in particular we need. We got good old dancing guy. We got some candies. These might be useful. 5 GP. Alright. Now we can at least heal ourselves up. Oh. I want to buy a magic rope as well. No point in buying a Angel's Grail, because that's to heal yourself up if you die, and if we die it's game over, so let's not worry about that. Got an equipment stall. Yeah, we can't buy anything. Alright, so here's Hawk. I'm pretty sure we run into, like, basically every single character. But, that's sort of your hint. Basically, at night. Here's our other teammate. Yes. I didn't lie to you. I just wanted you to join my team, because you're part of my party. It's not going to happen yet. They don't actually join your party until, like, their story unfolds, if I recall correctly. Which is annoying, because, you know, otherwise it's basically a very short cameo for a character you'll never see again. Fortunately, one of our characters will show up pretty soon. We just got to get out of this town. Weapon store. We have no weapons. Why would we have weapons? That's crazy. We don't sell weapons here. We're just store. Alright, but they are beasts. They turn into werewolves at night, so we're going to go to sleep. And then we have to make sure to wake up in the evening. And there's another character who, in another adventure, might actually be a party member, but she's not right now. But we should be able to leave now, and that's the important thing. This is actually why Kevin is one of the best characters, because he's himself a werewolf, and that makes him stronger than a human. And that's actually part of his plot point, is that the werewolves are being, like, corrupted, and he's trying to stop that. These are old friends, the Rabbites. I love these guys. And they're asleep, so we can just wreck them. That's one thing I like. If you use your special and it doesn't actually connect, you don't actually lose it. That's one feature I quite like. Had a feeling he was somewhere. If I recall, another weird thing about this game is items don't drop except potentially from the last thing that dies on screen, which is a little strange. And there's a bit of a delay before it actually does drop, so it takes a little while. I'll kill you, you silly rabbit. Alright, we won. Now, if only I could remember where to go. I think it's down here. Let's see, where do we need to go? That says we need to go somewhere, but I think we need to go somewhere else first. Or it might be after we go to Astoria. I actually do not remember. Alright, so here we go. We leveled. We get to pick a stat. Now, never, ever, ever, ever upgrade luck, because luck is worthless. I think there's one particular class that is based around luck, and it doesn't actually do anything otherwise. Like, it's supposed to make treasure chests less likely to trap you, but it's basically worthless. Spirit, if I recall, is magic defense. That can be useful. In fact, if you want some abilities, you need to at least put 1 point into Spirit for a lot of characters. Intellect is magic damage. Stamina is defense. Dexterity is basically a worthless stat, if I recall. Only Hawk takes advantage of dexterity because this is supposed to like affect evasion. Similarly to equipment that only Duran can get later, but neither really work. So we're going to upgrade strength. A good rule of thumb is you always want to build up strength and defense, which I think in this game, in this translation at least, is stamina, but I think it was originally constitution. And then if you're playing as a mage character, you want to upgrade intelligence a little bit at least. Alright, this is a gold statue, so it'll save our location, as well as heal us fully, which is very useful. Yes, we'll do that, because we haven't saved yet. Alright, we saved. Onward. Alright, there's a mush boom. We might have to go back to that town, but, I mean, at the very least, we'll have some experience, so it's not all a loss for us. I think we're going to get our second teammate pretty soon. Strange light. No, I think that's over the lake. Okay, we got to get to the lake area, because that's sort of like our first strand of where we need to go next in terms of plot building. But it only shows up at night, I believe. Alright, that's another kill. And I believe that little bouncy guy will take us back to the entrance if we want, but that's another thing I don't like about this, is this game sort of auto-targets enemies for you. Like, I don't know how clear it showed, but I was like aiming straight down, then this enemy came from up top and it just automatically corrected it. And that actually makes maneuvering around anything in this game a lot more obnoxious than it needs to be. But I mean, you don't have to worry so much about characters being stuck on objects and like being tethered to your teammates, which is a small mercy. I know we have to go to that cavern later. That's sort of like our next big location. And I believe that's where we get our next teammate. I think there's someone specifically we have to talk to here. Can't remember who, though. But I think there's a weapon shop here, which would be kind of nice for us to go into. I think it's this house. Or we'll not talk to that dog. He doesn't like how much I've been slaying werewolves, I'm betting. Just gonna throw that out there. There is someone here that says, you know, I saw something, and then it cuts to a cutscene, if I recall. Well, it might only be during the day, I can't remember. We need to go to that cavern, though. That is sort of our next locale. It's important that we go there. I don't need to talk to item dealer. I fear there might be another NPC. Because I think this is just one of those find an NPC and talk to him sort of situations. Weapons. No, wake up, I need weapons. I've not upgraded in ever. Alright, we'll sleep. Yes, we shall rest now. And there's conveniently 3 beds, only there's one of us. So I guess we just push them all together and have one super mega bed. Whoop, a thing's happening. Because plot. Oh, there's the weapon shop. Because intrigue and stuff. Our character has really long hair. Yes, it's a light, and you need to do something about it because you're Hero Man guy. Wait, I need you to advance the plot. Okay, hold on. I need to go to weapon shop. I sense a boss is coming in the near future, and if I can get an edge, that would just make me happy. Alright. Yes, please. Alright. How do I equip this? Whoopsie. I see. I guess it auto-equipped. Why not? I'm a little out of touch with this game. It's been a while since I played it. Yep, we saw a light. Now we gotta go chase it. That's sort of our current goal. Follow the glowy thing because glowy things mean interesting. I think we gotta go this way. I think this is the way we gotta go. And if not, more experience. Which in an RPG is always a plus. Now, similarly to Secret of Mana, this game has some really dumb bosses. Like Secret, it's basically just chaining your best attacks together. But in this game, it's also mostly just smashing your head against it until it dies. So keep yourself well equipped, keep yourself high leveled, and build your stats accordingly. Alright. Oh good, we're sort of like their last choice, so they're stuck with us now. Uh-oh, a thing's happening. She's going to live in our brain for a while, because magic. Also that animation. You take fairy with you, because no names for fairies. Okay, now we could take the quick jump back, but I think we're going to take like the extra 3 screens just to get some extra experience, because of course we are. Because it's important we get experience. Also, it is slowly transitioning to day, because day and night cycles that were fully realized in this game. And as you play, time passes in-game. It's really impressive. Boop. Boop. Smack. Alright. You totally should bust out Sword of Mana. It's totally better than the original version of Final Fantasy Adventure that's on this thing. And yet, I still want to get a copy of Final Fantasy Adventure, just because, you know, it's the starting point of the series. I feel like I need to get a copy at some point. But, Sword of Mana is significantly better. Sword of Mana is if you, like, took the original Final Fantasy Adventure and made it play like the Super Nintendo games that were really good. Whereas Sword of Mana plays not very good. Alright, well... this place is wrecked. We need to leave now before more bad things happen. Which, spoilers, more bad things happen. Because we need to build plot. Also, nice waterfall effect. Alright, there's a barrier. We can't cross there. But our fairy friend can do it for us. Because magic. Alright, let's go. I do not care for how much downtime there is in between attacks. Oh, it's just... It makes you feel completely helpless. And I guess that can work for sort of building up excitement in combat, but it also just makes it kind of a little bit boring, honestly. Now, if I recall this game... Alright, so we already built strength. So next would be stamina for us. Which should be defense. Which is important because, you know... Defense is important when you're playing as a fighter. It's one of the 2 important stats. Of course, at some point, you know, it's going to say, well, these 2 stats are maxed. Pick someone else. And I'm going to have to, like, put points into, like, luck. Or, like, spirit or something. Uh-oh, we're trapped. Also, multiple levels of the same guy. Also, we're in trouble. Oh, no. Alright, candy. Because candy makes everything better. Okay, that was a little rough. Yeah, enemies really do like to juggle you. Sort of like if you were to go up against an enemy without a proper, like, charge in Secret of Mana. Like, you can just juggle. It's not terribly effective, but in this game, enemies can be really mean to you if you let them, which is not good. But that's why you have a team of multiple teammates as well. And you take advantage from when they glitch like that. I'll take it. Oh, a blat. Alright. Ooh, free stuff. Yes, please. Alright, now this is what luck affects. But it's not the biggest issue. Took a little bit of damage, but we got plenty of candy, so it's not really that big an issue. Uh-oh. Gonna save you. Yay. Aww. She really does look like Sprite. And now we get some plot building for every character in this game. And that was the villain of her story that we'll never see because, you know, we're not making her the protagonist. So who cares about her villain? Oh, they could have retranslated her lines to be less speech impediment-y. But she is a kid, I guess. Enunciation is not her bag. And then she walked off a cliff because reasons. And then it was now, and then I don't know what happened. Aww. She's going to follow for a lot longer. Okay, now it's that very sprite right there that makes me think she's literally just a repurposed sprite. Alright, so now we've got our team healer, so we're pretty much good forever. But later on, she'll have some fantastic abilities to debuff, which is going to make her awesome. Oh, free stuff. Yes, please. That I believe is useful if you're poisoned. Now, let's see. Does she know anything immediately? I guess not. Alright, well. Heal me then. I don't know why a child has a flail. I think that's a little weird, but... You know, she knows how to hit hard enough, so I guess that works out. Alright. Out of the cave. I remember there being a boss. Armor shop, yes please. Alright. Got some new armor. Means we're going to take some less damage. Weapon shop. Out of the way! Alright, now we need to buy ourselves iron sword, although we have one of those. We actually do not have enough gold for the rest. Alright, how do I don't think we actually equipped anything, which is a problem. Might be wrong about that. I'm genuinely not sure. Let's see. Alright. So this is actually an interesting system. Basically, you can manually and very deeply program sort of where your teammates act based on everyone else. And you can even, like, program them to use specific abilities, which I think is a very neat idea. Oh, hey, we can change our text boxes. Let's do that. I kind of like that. Actually. Can we get something a little bit closer to... Yes, that's what I want. Alright. We need to trade equipment, although we need to equip equipment. And how do we do that? Ah, here we go. Okay, bronze sword. We don't need that. And then that's that. And then we gotta trade over to our other character. Which I don't know how to do immediately, but we can do that. Just swap our character. Although maybe we could have done that in there, I'm not sure. This is one thing they could have sped up, though, like, transitioning between chunks of stuff in here is not great. We already had sheep pajamas. Alright, well, either way. We're at least a little better equipped. You don't know anything. You need to learn some magics. Might want to heal up. I have just enough for a night. I would like to wake up in the morning, I think. Alright, now it's a different day, because there's also a week calendar system. Which I think is a very cool idea. Alright, now we gotta go to the sanctuary, which I believe is up here. So let's go talk to us some priests, because reasons. I just want to change my class so that I can be stronger now and to beat the stuffing out of a very annoying mage. You don't have enough experience points. Come back later. Yeah, they're literally telling us, you know, go level up a little. And by that they mean get to level 18, then we'll talk. We can get the Sword of Mana. Not that we can wield it because it's not an item in this game. Oh good, we're stuck with this thing forever. Well, actually your sword is kind of crap. Maybe get the level 10 sword. I could be the strongest with this, you say? Well, that changes things a little bit. Also a remake of Angel's Fear. So basically our plot, get the sword, become awesome. We have a very simple protagonist. So go get the stones instead. And these things allow you to class change. Unfortunately, there's only a couple you can actually get to, if I recall. We need to collect elemental spirits because we're already turning this into a collectathon. Why not? Go get more elemental spirits so you can use magic. Did I mention this is a sequel to Secret of Mana? It plays kinda similarly. Yeah. Now, if we were playing without her as our teammates, this would be where we stop hanging out with her. And I don't think she'd even fight with us at any point. She's just sort of there. We gotta go back into the cave and find the magic stone that has... What was at one point, I think, Wisp, but now is Illumina, because retranslations and stuff. Ah, there was a chest. I thought there might be. Plus candy, because candy makes everything better. Also experience, because we need levels. Can't get our class change on until we hit 18. I think we'll be playing for that long. Well, I don't know, I guess if people requested I could play more of this. I don't mind, I'm interested in playing this. Alright, so if I recall, the stone is at the very bottom of this place. Also, under that waterfall on the right looks like a button. That will never be addressed. Kind of reminds me of the cave area in Final Fantasy VII a little bit. Alright, so we've got another level. Of course, we're going to increase ourselves some strength so that we can hit a lot harder. It's important. Hit things as hard as possible. I really have got to stop waiting around, or start waiting around for chests, but I'm so impatient. That's one thing they could have fixed if they were, you know, tweaking this is, you know, make stuff spawn a little faster. I do not care for having to wait like an extra 3 seconds after killing something to go and collect it. Okay, that's one thing I do like about this game, though. If you clear an area, and then you go back to a separate area, and then you come back, all the enemies will still be dead. It takes like two transitions before stuff respawns. Alright, we use our fairy friend. I can't fly, but maybe you can do a thing. Like that. Uh-oh, now we're fighting level 4s. It's getting real up in here. No chest that time. Zombies! But, unlike the first mana game, you can actually, you know, do something about it. Now, if I recall, because she's a healer, her best stat is spirits to increase. Because intelligence affects offensive. Either way, we're going to have to increase her spirit at some point to teach her some spells, so if I made a bad call, it's something I can recover from later. Uh-oh. See some candy on Sprite. Alright, 1. If I recall, there is a boss coming up pretty soon. I think it's to the right of us, but I might be wrong. But we get a save point that heals us. So it's all good. This game is really good about giving you places to save that heal you when you need them. Wow, I am below Sprite's level. That's depressing. I'm a lower level than a 3-year-old, and I'm supposed to be like the greatest fighter. Oh, that's sad. Just gotta keep hitting goblins. But eventually we will get that class change, and that's the important thing. Oopsie. Alright, so I'm leveling again. Next is stamina for us, because really all we need is defense and attack for our character. Like I said, our character can kinda... They all start with sort of preset classes, but thanks to the ability to change classes down the road, everything can kind of end up fitting sort of any position, theoretically. Like, our character could potentially be a healer by the end of it if we picked, like, a paladin class. We're not going to do that because we have a dedicated healer, though. I think we're just going to go about as melee-centric and do as much damage as possible. If I recall, mimic chests can also drop items as chests, so, you know, it doesn't hurt to fight them. Plus, they're kind of goofy looking. Got big angry eyebrows. Look kind of like Bowser. A lot of defense, though. But experience is useful, so we're going to take it. And another chest. With more candy. So we're sad. We're gonna get a chest? Yes, we are. But yeah, it's just annoying to have to wait like an extra 3 seconds after killing something. It feels largely unnecessary. Alright, here's the boss area, I think. Yep. Here we go. There's something here. They Ernest Evans this game. We get bosses that are made of multiple sprites. Hell yeah. Okay, this could be a problem with us dying real quick if we let it happen. So we're going to make sure that doesn't happen, because we got plenty of candy to ensure survivability. No, I want you to heal me. Alright, there we go. Now we're good. Okay, now this guy closes his eyes so you can't do damage then. That's sort of his whole thing. If you're not prepared, this guy can actually be kind of a tricky fight, but most of the bosses in this game are all pretty easy. Might want to heal up again. I got... Whoopsie. Ah! Yeah, I've been told the controls are a little sticky on this particular version of this game, which sucks a little bit. But we should be okay. I don't think we're gonna have any problems. Just gotta wait a second, then he opens his eyes and we hit him again. Did not remember he had that move. That's okay. These are specials. They should be okay. Alright, we took out one of his eyes. Because visual damage to enemies. Actually, I don't recall that happening like anywhere else in the game. That's kind of neat. Come on. We are running low on health now. We are completely out of healing items now. There we go. Also, I gotta say, that thing without eyes looks awesome. I think with eyes it looks goofy. But we won. And for our efforts, we got Wisp. Or Lumina, because retranslations. And we'll now get some Magic Fire Call. But we gotta get more elementals if we are to succeed. And now this path opened up. Because convenience. And now we get to wail on more goblins. Like what we just did was nothing at all. Right. Now, if I recall... Well, maybe not. I was gonna say, I think Lumina does something somewhere in this cave, but I can't remember what. Uh-oh. Now a thing happened because werewolves want revenge. But that also put us basically right where we need to be, so that works out great. Once again, doing the Super Nintendo great justice with Mode 7. It makes literally everything better. I quite like that sort of aurora effect in the sky. That's always stood out to me as being one of the more impressive visual things on the Super Nintendo, I think. Pretty simple effect too, but still. I think it's one of the prettier things that the console ever had on it. Flashbacks. Okay, that looked a little goofy. Unfortunately, they're not going to make it. Except for our fairy friend who did. Also, that animation, it looks like a cross between her crying and giving thumbs up. The classic thumbs up cry. Oh, hey, it looks like our last party member. We need to be let out, and we need it now. Yeah, I know, I saw you. You got mad at me for saying I saw someone when I didn't. Yes. Someone's planning an escape. You should probably go do a thing about that. Wow, they are not very bright. Alright. Teamwork. I did none of that. Hooray for a complete team. Let's heal up. And of course we gotta save. That goes without saying. But before we go, we gotta rub it in his face a little. Idiot. Onwards to adventures! But first we have to fight more werewolves. Oh, didn't see that last one. Alright. So I think we're going down here. I find it bizarre that they're releasing this now, especially in English, when they're going to literally have a remake of this released next year. It comes across as a little odd to me. I mean, yeah, their track record with remakes after the after the Game Boy Advance is kind of awful, but still, it's weird timing. I guess they're just trying to milk nostalgia again, twice. Or something. I don't know. Just gotta keep fighting all the werewolves to get to the boat. Alright. To the boat. We're going to get out of here. Although we couldn't do this earlier, mind you. You can only take this boat again after you've been recaptured because reasons. But slowly we will make our way. Literally back the way we came, because, you know, that's how you progress in life, is to regress in life. It's a ferry. It's been following us. Keep up. We must find the mana stones to class change and other things, but let's just be honest, class change is what we care about. That's how we get stronger. That's how we hit things harder. And about the point where we get here in the story is where we run into the first mana stone, if I recall. Or at least the first one where we can class change. But I think we're going to be a little low level for that. Based on what I remember, anyway. I'm sorry, you're Amazons. Why do you have a king and a brother? And flashbacks, because we couldn't play hers. Because she's just team member number 3. So now she's on a quest that just happens to coincide with our quest of questliness, because quests. So we're gonna try and save her kingdom because reasons. She's a teammate. Gotta look out for them. Back in mode 7 land. We return back to the docks where we basically started this adventure. Terrific. I do not remember where to go after this, though. I know there's someone here we need to talk to at some point. Oopsie. Yeah, this game has stretchable screens, but it doesn't stretch properly, which annoys me. It's a big cannon for cannon travel, like the other games. That's pretty great. We can't use it yet, though. I think we still have to traverse the area full of monsters. Because monsters. Alright, now I gotta try to remember where we need to go. Uh-oh. We can't return. There are werewolves, and I mean, we just killed them all, but, you know, they're back, and that's just an insurmountable task for us. Sorry. Hey, it's our old pals, the Rabbites. I love these guys. Big, goofy, yellow rabbit blobs. I think we go to the left, we go back to the town we started in. I'm not sure there's anything down here. I think this is useful for something later. Yeah. But we can keep killing bugs. Okay, so our cleric's leveling up. Again, I think we need to increase spirit, which we can't do. So I'm thinking stamina, just to give her some physical defense. It's probably the best move. Alright, we got healing light, so now we can actually heal up. That's important. Alright. But, yeah, the fact that you slow down in combat, that's always going to be something that bugs me. Because, you know, you have to come back here later at a much higher level where 3 or 4 experience isn't going to do anything for you. And it's like, well, you can waste the time killing these things, or you can run through it, but you're not going very fast. And by the time you factor in, like, the sheathing animation, you're not going to get very far either way. Alright, Amazon, that's kind of a support fighter. We're going to have to increase her spirit a little bit at one point, I think, to give her a spell, but I think right now we're just going to invest in strength, because she is a fighter of sorts. And we can't increase attack or stamina. Screw it. Luck. Slightly better critical hits, I guess. We don't really need it, but because crits are so marginally useful in this game. It's one of those things, you invest in it if you need, like, to fill out a level because you can't invest in anything else you're investing in. Okay, now if we go up, that leads to a cave that is back towards the town where we started. So I'm thinking we go south. Because we need to follow the yellow brick road, as Dorothy once did before us. But I heard she was a pretty badass fighter, so I'm guessing that she's already killed all the major threats on the road. Now we just have to deal with the cleanup of all these little tiny rabbites. Oh, let's see. What do we want to do? Yes, please. That's what I want. And now that we can heal, that makes life so much easier than my previous playthrough, where I had no healer. That creates problems. Certainly doable, but it's not the most pleasant way to play this game. Oh, we're not allowed here. And I think after this we have to go back and talk to the guy with the cannon. And says, hey, I can get you in there. No problem. Something. Again, this part's a little nebulous for me. It's been a while. Well, it means we get to kill more stuff and get more levels. So, small victories. Alright. Stupid Robin Hoods. I remember how frustrating they were the first time you ran into them in secret. So it's nice to just be able to wail on them in this game. Okay, I don't have bows now. Uh-oh. Quick, healer. Do that thing what I just called you to do. In that healing. Do that. Awesome. Yes, you don't need luck if you've got skills. The problem is when this game basically says, well, you know, you can't upgrade your skills yet, so, you know, sink it into useless places or put it into luck. You know, I guess I could put it into magic defense, but, you know, magic defense is kind of worthless if you're playing a fighter for the most part. I mean, not a lot of enemies actually use magic. It's like bosses mostly, from what I remember. And, you know, if you're fighting bosses, they tend to die pretty quick once you actually have magic. Alright. Alright, so I think we gotta go talk to the guy with the cannon again. Actually, we should probably heal up. Let's go to the inn first. Alright, so where, oh, where is our old pal, the inn? Yes, I would like to sleep. We'll sleep till the PM. That might unlock something for us. Alright. probably save because we haven't done that in a little while. Alright. He's got a weird machine, it might help us. I do need a thing in your backyard actually right now, I'm pretty sure. Yes, it's canon for cannon travel. I think it's great. Let me use it. No? Alright. I'm running out of ideas as to where I need to go right now. I don't believe we can take a ship anywhere of value right now. Yeah, that's no good. But now that it's nighttime, maybe those guards will change their tune a little bit. Maybe. Or not, I don't know. We'll find out. That's another thing worth noting is, you know, during the nighttime, enemies actually change a little bit. You know, you'll run into different enemies than you would in the daytime. Sometimes, not always, though. But you gotta appreciate that they're at least changing things up a little bit. So we probably won't run into too many rabbits right now. Still, it doesn't look like they've actually functionally changed too much of this game, other than, you know, translating it. Which, I mean, it is supposed to be a collection of the games as they were originally made, so I guess that works out well for everyone, but... Gonna increase your stamina. I don't know, I think they could have made a few modifications to mechanics to make it play a little better. Maybe get rid of that slowdown when you run around and stuff, but, you know. And I guess it wouldn't be realistic to how it was. Can I go down here? Yes, I can. That's one of these guys. Boing. That's gonna lead me back to where we started, isn't it? Bonk. Because we really wanted to use mode 7 to take a look at the map. Ow. Alright. Just gotta keep killing zombies. I do appreciate how zombies aren't stupid like they were in Sword of Mana, where, you know, the first time you ran into them, you just had to run away from them because there was nothing you could do. That I did not like very much in that game. But I think that was, again, trying to channel the original Final Fantasy Adventure, which was a very problematic game to begin with. At least based on what I know from the remake I played. That wasn't the good remake. Well, no. Increase her intelligence. That way her offensive magic, for what little there will be of it, probably not any whatsoever, could be useful. Now, if I recall, Twinkle Rain is a very useful ability. Alright. More experience. More levels. That's all those blats. It just doesn't flow quite as well as Secret of Mana's combat system. And to be fair, you know, you could make the argument that attacks didn't work necessarily well in that game because you had to pause in between swings, or else you did nothing, but... You know, the slowdown of actual physical movement is such a problem. Alright, we need magic. Use this on me before I die now, please. Hooray. And, you know, using your special attacks is kind of neat, but I honestly half the time forget that's even here. I'm not a spy. I want to go through. Alright, well, we've been doing this for an hour and a half. I think we've kind of gotten an idea for what this game is. Oh yeah, there's a quick save function now. That's kind of useful, I guess, if you're looking for specific drops anyway. I think we kind of understand what this game is. I mean, I understood before I played it. This is Secret of Mana 2, Seiken Densetsu 3, but with a more quote-unquote official translation. It's a good game. If you like Secret of Mana, you'll probably enjoy this. A lot of people who play that game say this is basically that, but better. I'm sort of 50-50 on that stance, but, you know, it's a good game, and like I said at the start, this is one of the big 5 games you should import if you have any interest in Super Famicom RPGs. And now it's available in English, and it's getting a remake next year, for reasons I find kind of baffling. I might do more of this, you know, if people want me to. I could see playing more of this, I guess. I certainly would like to on my own time, so, you know, maybe I'll just stream that, I don't know. But if you want some more of this, request it, I guess. And I hope you enjoyed. If you did, follow the stream to know when we go live, because we stream every single day, as well as doing some other stuff like this when I have the time. And you might want to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel to see everything else I do, which is over 1,300 videos at this point, and it's a lot of different games, a lot of reviews, lots of stuff like this. I'm sure there's something there for you. There's something for everyone on there. And if you really want to make my day, check out the show's PayPal or Patreon. Support the show any way you can so that you can help me do what I do best, which is play Super Famicom games I really like that are now in English because reasons. And you'll get yourself on the Discord where we can talk about awesome things like how good a game this is, because it is a very good game, although I'm not sure it's better than the previous iteration. Like I said, it's kind of 50-50, but, you know, it's still pretty good. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Peace out, Internet.